No thoughts, just vibes. Where's my brush? Ah, right in front of my nose. Got it. Got it. Hello, hello, welcome to my video. If you're from my Instagram, I love you. If you're not from my Instagram, love you all the same. So today I'm gonna be trying out a few different PLOUISE products. Now this is not my first time trying out PLOUISE overall. I love their cosmetic bases, but it is my first time trying out all of the products that you're gonna see in today's video. So if you wanna see how I created this look and what are my final thoughts about everything I used for this look, then keep on watching. Okay, so as you can see, my base is mostly done, and the reason for that is because I'm gonna be reviewing eye and lip stuff today. So the only thing I have to do before actually getting right into it is just prime my eyes. So let's go. So I use the PLOUISE blank canvas bases every single day. Now I normally use shade Rumor 02, and that's the shade that I've been using ever since I first tried those bases. And then I was on their website recently and I was looking for things to buy, you know, this lovely Black Friday, and I realized they have a lot of their other colorful bases, so like the greens, the blues, and the purples, you know. I was like, why have I never tried any other shade of the flesh tone bases besides Rumor 02? Because sometimes I feel like it's slightly too dark for me, especially in the winter time when I think I'm really pale. And so I decided to order that same base except in the shade Rumor 01. So this is just one shade difference, but it's literally almost stark white in person, and I think it translates on camera. So I don't know how I plan to blend this into my foundation seamlessly right now, but oh well, that's why we're trying new things today. Okay, so I mean, we're gonna blend this in, but this was definitely a mistake. So Rumor 02 is just slightly too dark for me, and Rumor 01 is way too light for me. You know what? I'll just cover all of this product anyway, and I'll just pretend like this didn't happen, and it's gonna be great. So now that we've primed, I'm gonna be using their eyeshadows today, and I'm gonna be using the Going Solo palette. I've never tried any of their eyeshadows before, so I don't have anything to compare this to. I haven't tried any of their other palettes, so this is gonna be an interesting experience, but hopefully I'm gonna be able to make this work. I was really doing this and completely forgot I haven't been commenting on the eyeshadow at all. So honestly, so far so good. I've only just used one eyeshadow for now, but it's pretty pigmented. It performs just like I'm used to my other favorite eyeshadows from other brands performing. We'll see how easy it is to blend. That's where I always have a problem. So now that I've sketched out the general shape, I'm taking that same shade and just blending out above that a little bit. So I am noticing some fallout in the pan, obviously, but it's not an enormous amount just yet. So that's always a plus. Okay, so now I've cleaned off the brush. It's completely clean and dry, and I'm just buffing out the edges. And this is where we're really gonna see how this blending situation is gonna go for me today. Hopefully, it's gonna blend out better than it is right now, because I have places to be, and let's not relive this horrible moment of that last video when I did my makeup with products that I hated. You remember that one? I'll link it up in the card for you. Anyway, it didn't look that bad on camera, but in person, I promise you, people were looking at me as if I was sick. Which, you know what? Let me not finish that sentence. So far on the other eye, that blended out pretty easily. I'm actually very impressed. And again, this is my old technique that I've showed you already in past videos, but you don't want to blend this out completely, just sort of buff out the edges. I'm just dipping back into that same shade again just to rebuild the color a little bit where I've lost it with blending. And then I promise you I'm gonna move on to a different shade. While I blend this, let's talk. I want to hear what's something funny that's happened to you this week, because I was just hanging out with my parents yesterday, and you know how, do anybody else's parents do this? They're really late to the party sometimes for certain things, and so my parents just now discovered Sia, the singer, and they have been blasting her and making me listen to her songs and being like, oh my god, she's incredible, like, do people know about her? And I'm like, girl, you're so late to the party, because we've been known that Sia is an incredible singer. but they're just late to the party and realizing just now, and I think it's so funny how they're just now blasting songs from like 2014. Now I dipped into the shade Prenup, which looks like a classic gray, and I'm just going to use the 50-50 method to blend out the previous shade. And again, honestly, I can barely notice any fallout. So now I'm moving into the shade Separation, and this is the lightest one I'm gonna use. Okay, you know what? I'm living for the shade because it's giving off sort of this bluish hue, but not really, but a little bit. How pretty! Now I'm just filling in the tail of my look with that first dark gray shade I used. So I already have the shade Ring Off on my lower lash line, and now I'm just taking a small angled brush and applying the other two shades right underneath it so we can blend them all out later. Okay, so now I'm just using a little bit of the blank canvas Rumor 02 to clean up these edges. So as you can see, I'm done with that part. I'm now going to cut the crease, and I'm gonna use a new PLOUISE base brush I got for this. Now, I don't know if it's gonna work because it's a little bigger than all of the other cut crease brushes that I'm used to, but we're gonna see. And then I'm thinking we're gonna apply some silver shimmer and later on a beautiful duochrome shade on top of that silver. So far this brush is great for cutting the crease. It is a little bigger than I'm used to, like I said, but I do only use the tip of the brush and then pinch it to flatten it out as much as possible, and that's how I cut the shape out. And so far that's working out really well. I'm pleasantly surprised with everything I've tried so far. Okay, so now I'm filling that in, and we're immediately going to apply our silvery shimmer on the wet base. So I took the shade Betrayal on a flat brush, and now I'm applying it everywhere. And I would call this a classic silver / aluminum foil type of shade, but it's very pretty. So the color payoff is great. It is true to pan. It looks just like it does in the pan. However, this is more of a foil effect that this shade gives you. It's not so much glitter and shimmer, but it's more of a foil effect, which, you know what, I'm honestly not mad at all. And it seems like the other shimmery shade in the palette, which is called Replaceable, would be the one that would give you more of a shimmery effect from the two. Obviously, we're gonna do the same to the other eye. Okay, so I'm done with the eyeshadow palette, and as you can see, that was a complete success. Honestly, I don't know if there's anything I would change about this palette. I'm very happy with it, but instead of stopping here, we're now going to use one of their duochrome eyeshadows that I also picked up, and we're just gonna pop it in the center of this look and see maybe if that'll make it better or if it'll ruin it. I'm not sure. I tend to ruin things, but we'll see. You know what? So far it's very subtle, but I didn't want to put a giant layer of this on immediately. But I kind of like it even subtle. It gives off this little green bronze duochrome vibe on top of that silver. Okay, so I think I'm gonna stop here. This looks great. Can't wait to see what this will look like in natural lighting. But so far, I'm really happy. Now let me finish off the rest of my face and we'll move on to the lips. So as you can see, we're nearly finished. The only thing we have left to review is their Perfect Pout Lip Base. Now, I haven't done a lot of research on this product because I wanted to be surprised for this video. So I don't know if this is meant to be as a standalone product, or is it meant to work like their eyeshadow bases where you're meant to put stuff over top of it. So we're gonna find out together, but I'm gonna try and make it work as a standalone product, and then if it's not pigmented enough, I have lipsticks that I'm just gonna slather on, and then we're gonna see exactly what it does. So I got it in a nice cute neutral shade, and already the applicator is like that of a lip gloss, like a lip gloss tube, which I wasn't expecting, although I'm not sure what exactly I was expecting, but it wasn't this. So, ooh, okay. Oh yeah. Yeah, sure, this can definitely be a standalone product. I would prefer a different applicator. Maybe a doe foot would be nice for this consistency. I actually really like the shade. I think it goes nicely with our eye look today. it feels very comfortable. Honestly, it sort of feels like I just put on some lip balm. Now on the packaging, they say that this is a hydrating formula that stays put all day. It definitely is hydrating. It didn't dry up my lips, although it does sort of look like a liquid lipstick now that it's dry, but it's not drying at all, so that's good. And in my next video, I'm gonna wear it out right now, and then in my next video, I'll inform you how long lasting it actually was. But for now, this is what we have. Now let's get into my final thoughts. So let's start off with the blank canvas base. Now, although this wasn't new to me, I already knew how this was going to perform, which by the way, you were able to see that it did perform beautifully. The eyeshadows certainly did have something to stick to, and it did make them look more pigmented. The shade that I tried today was new for me. So in the beginning, when I first applied it, I was really scared. That did throw me into a little bit of a panic because I thought, okay, I'm somehow gonna make this work, but I'm never gonna use this again. And now, lo and behold, as you're able to see, I kind of blended it in seamlessly with the rest of my face makeup, and I didn't have to spend way too long of a time doing that. I just sort of applied a little bit of concealer underneath and blended everything out with a fluffy brush, and you know what? It looks pretty seamless now. So although this won't be my go-to shade, I think that my go-to will still be Rumor 02. I'm definitely gonna use this one again. Next up is the PLOUISE Going Solo eyeshadow palette. Now this palette, I can't say enough good things about it. I purposefully did the rest of my face first and then did the eyes, even though I knew I was gonna be working with black, because usually black and dark eyeshadows leave such a big fallout on the face, and I wanted you to really be able to see that, which if there was any fallout, you would be able to see it, but literally, I didn't have to clean up my face after applying this at all. The eyeshadows are incredible. So, okay, pigmented as you were able to see, blend out like a dream and very buttery as you were able to see, and then no fallout on the face. I don't know how that's possible. Not even from that silvery shade, which come on, I thought at least that was gonna give us some fallout, but it really didn't. There was some fallout in the pan, in the palette, but really not a lot. I would say maybe even less than I'm used to. And these are dark shades and very pigmented. So that's an incredible giant big plus. And I'm definitely stepping into the new year with this in my makeup bag. Now next up was the base brush. Now I wasn't sure how this was gonna perform. You can definitely mold it and work with it. If you pinch it, it does flatten out, which is great for cutting the crease. So I'm definitely gonna be using this more. Then we have the Duo Drops. Now this is a gorgeous shade. While I was applying it on my eye, I swatched it a little bit on my hand, and literally in every lighting it looks different. Sometimes it's purple, sometimes it's green, sometimes it's this beautiful bronzy shade. Obviously also depending on how much you layer it on top of itself. So I just gave it a little thin layer on the eye, and I love the way it looks. It really accentuates that silver, but also gives it a nice cute little pop of duochrome green. If you are layering this on top of some other eyeshadow like I did though, I would definitely recommend dipping your brush into it and then rubbing some off on your hand just to sort of get it started, and then applying it that way to your eye. But if you're using this as a standalone product, then I think that you could definitely just apply this directly to your eye. You don't have to waste any product on your hand or anything. Last but certainly not least, the perfect Pout lip base. Now I'm still not sure what this is supposed to be. Is it a lipstick? Because as you can see, it certainly does look like a lipstick. It feels like a lipstick. It doesn't dry out your lips though. It sort of feels more like a lip balm. And I don't know if I meant to put anything else on top of this, but I really just like this shade. So I'm gonna leave it as is, and I'm gonna go do my little errands around town and then see actually how long it lasts. But so far so good. So honestly, that's it for today's video. I really enjoyed all of the products. I thought something was gonna sabotage me for sure, because if you've been watching, in every video, in literally almost every video, something decides to sabotage me / I sabotage myself, but we're not gonna call it that. And then today, nothing. So I'm just gonna end it here while we're ahead. So thank you so much for watching. Please consider subscribing and liking this video, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.